Hi, Soupy.
Hi, Mummy Bear.
We have another wonderful chit-chat.
We do. This is episode 47.
That's right. This is Alla Olkhovska, who
Mm-hmm.
was on episode 20 of Gardener's World this year, 2025.
Yes, and you might remember her by the fact that she was the clematis queen that we called her
Yeah.
afterwards because she knew everything about all sorts of different clematis and especially had a huge amount of the bell varieties.
Yes.
And her garden was just full of them and it was, really, really stunning.
It was an education for us, wasn't it, when she came on the show, Gardener's World show, because we hadn't come across any of those clematis, I don't think, that she showed,
No.
or a lot of them. But
No.
she's not just the clematis queen, she's also the peony queen, as we
Also
find out
peony,
in this
yes.
chit-chat. And that she's doing very well with selling her seeds. So if you are interested in the plants that she grows, she is selling the seeds.
There are some beautiful ones.
Can send those to you.
Yeah.
So check out her website, which you can find on our website as well. We have a link to it there. But this was a really interesting chat, and it was it was quite a surreal experience for us, I think, wasn't it? Because
it was.
Alla is in the Ukraine, and she is currently dealing with blackouts and bomb strikes and drone strikes and all sorts on a daily basis,
the
day
powerhouses.
and night.
Yeah.
And there was this very surreal moment where Alla is talking about how she is concerned about cracks in her walls on account of bomb strikes.
Yeah.
And it put everything suddenly into perspective for me, because I have been ranting on about these tiny cracks in the walls that we have, which is purely down to expansion and contraction of building materials
and humidity
and it's purely aesthetic. And then hearing what Alla was dealing with, it really sort of put me in my place. I think it made me rethink all the things I whinge about.
I mean, it's quite amazing that she is right there where it's all happening, and she's still managing to stay kind of confident and positive as much as possible with her garden.
She's an inspiration.
I mean, also the fact that it's been brought down generations as well.
Yes, well, we hear a lot about that. So we hear a huge amount about the family history connected to this garden and the house that Alla was recording from.
Yeah.
So we hear about her great-grandparents dealing with world wars, the October Revolution, exile to Siberia.
Things that I learned in history class.
Yeah.
And what was actually happening to her great-grandfather. It's quite amazing.
Yeah, so it's lovely to hear about that history and about what an important role apples have played in her family's history. We also have quite a long conversation about measurements, some of which I had to cut out, so you will hear a bit of a disjointedness around that section, because we find out that in the Ukraine they use a measure called sotkas, and so we were trying to frantically Google how many meters squared there were to sotkas, and we worked out how many football pitches that was. And obviously in the UK we still use some imperial, some metric,
some weird measurements,
the length of a banana, or whatever.
I don't know what we do.
So there was some confusion, but we got there in the end. So that was interesting.
I felt sorry for Alla, because I was sitting there going, I'm still trying to figure out what we're talking about.
Alla was completely in control. She had Google at her fingertips. She did. Her English is impeccable, so she had no problem. It's you and me struggling.
It's just us.
We also hear about how snowdrops in the Ukraine are not the same as snowdrops here in the UK.
I didn't know about that.
Alla's secret ingredient for growing garden orchids.
Which is very helpful, actually.
Yeah.
I liked talking about that, especially since I've got a little baby orchid, which I now need to look after.
Yes, exactly. What's he called?
Gary.
Some reason. He's Scottish and called Gary. We had some confusion about the soaked apples recipe, but Alice kindly sent a link through, which does automatically translates to English from Ukrainian and Russian, and so some of the words are definitely incorrect. It talks about urination apples, for example, which definitely can't be right.
Don't think so.
I have also put another link to a more sort of English language friendly version. So do head over to our website for all Alla's recommendations. There's also a link to Linden Grove Gardens, her family garden in Ukraine. And also it gives you a link to her Instagram page, which has got the most beautiful photos, because Alla is a very good photographer. And all her photos on her website are her photos. In terms of noises, not too bad. Lots of tap on keyboards whilst we're all Googling things. A couple of computer-type blings come through, but otherwise the sound's pretty good. We didn't have any blackouts, so we were pretty lucid throughout.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sweet Pea, what's the format?
So for Alla's Dream Garden, and we have got to say one thing specifically about the pond or pool area first. She wasn't too sure about this, so we kind of figured a way around it. Mm-hmm. But the Dream Garden structure is as follows: garden boundary, shed or greenhouse, 5 ornamentals, 5 edibles, 1 statement tree, pond or pool plus 1 plant, in brackets, and favourite seating area, plant and drink to have there.
That's it. So if you do want to get in touch or have any questions about this episode, please do contact us through our contacts page on our website, notjustgarden.co.uk, or our email address, which is notjustgarden@outlook.com.
Exactly.
And as mentioned, all links will be on our website. So head over to the gardens page. You can see some pins on the map and any recommendations from Alla. So I think, Sweet Pea, we should have a listen to this one.
I think absolutely we should.
This is episode 47, a good old chit-chat with Alla Olkhovska.
Off we go.
Welcome, Alla, to Good Old Chit-Chat.
Hi, I'm so happy to see you in person.
Yeah, lovely to see you too.
Lovely, yes.
Thank you for joining us all the way from the Ukraine. And the first thing you said to me before we started this chat was, you're okay at the moment, you have light.
Yeah.
So have you had some recent blackouts?
Yeah, we have constant blackouts, and the thing is that recently we had just terrible massive attacks, and they are combined at the moment. So we have missile strikes, glide bomb strikes, and drone strikes, and our power station situated not far from us was hit again. And this caused very, very long blackouts because we stayed without light for several days. Then the situation was stabilized a little bit to regular blackouts. So today we will have regular blackout, but it will be later on. So if everything goes okay and we do not have some attack right at the moment, well, usually they are closer to the evening and by night, because drones, they are flying by night better because they are not seen well, and there are less chances to hit them down. And that's why usually drone attacks, they take place in the evening and by night, but missile attacks and glide bomb attacks, they could take place any time of day, so in the morning, by day, so absolutely. And so if we do not have such an emergency situation right at the moment, so everything should be okay, because the regular blackout will be later on.
So when you have these blackouts in summer, I guess it's not of concern, but in winter, in terms of heating and keeping warm and
how does that work?
Surviving like that, what are you using? Do you have fires in your homes, or how are you keeping yourself safe and warm?
It's absolutely terrible, because when we have blackouts, we do not have everything, because everything is connected with the light. So no heating, no water supply, because the engines can't work and can't supply water. Also, we do not have connection, because even when mobile connection fails, some stations have accumulators, but they do not last long. So for an hour, that absolutely the biggest period of time they could work, and then we do not have connection, so no stationary connection and no mobile connection. And that's terrible. We have a generator, and it was donated by our foreign friends, and we use it, but we try not to use it too often, because the fuel is very, very expensive, and the price for fuel continues to rise due to a number of factors. First of all, because it's war in the country, so prices go upwards for everything, and we have shortages in everything. So, and also very often power stations and also fuel reservoirs, they are attacked, and huge fires are caused, and this causes deficits in fuel too, and the additional rise in prices. And so it's just very, very pricey, and the generator consumes a lot. And so we try to use it for a very, very short period of times. We fell ill with the virus, and so we just needed some hot water or something hot to eat. So we had to use the generator in order to prepare something, and also it got very cold outside.
Mm.
Actually, they are speaking all the time about like global warming, but to me it seems
It's
that
cold.
very
getting
soon
colder.
we will have an ice period again, because it's very, very cold. So it's only the beginning of October, but we had only 4 degrees Celsius by night, so it's very, very cold here. And so we had to use it from time to time, but it doesn't solve the problem with connection, because even when we switch on the generator, the stationary internet doesn't work, and also the mobile internet doesn't work, so it doesn't solve that problem. So you only have to buy Starlink, but it's extremely expensive, and the use of it is also very expensive each month, so it's absolutely unreal for an average Ukrainian.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So how are you going to cope in the winters then, when the temperatures really drop?
Actually, we do not know, because at the moment we are promised to have a black winter, because the infrastructure is being attacked more and more. And if all the power plants will be hit, that will cause a huge disaster in the country, because the light will be off almost all the time. And actually, I just can't imagine what will happen here, because that would be terrible. At the moment, at least, we have regular blackouts, like several days without light at all. It already was absolutely terrible. But having no light all the time, so I do not know what we will do, actually, because using generator all the time, well, I don't think that it will be able to work so much, actually. And we do not have a diesel generator. We have a standard like fuel generator. So it's not that, how to say it, that strong, and doesn't have that many working hours as, for example, diesel generators have. So that's also a problem. And also using it time, like if we have total blackout and black winter, I can't imagine the prices for fuel, because they will be just like equivalent of the price of gold, because everyone will need fuel, and it will be impossible to buy it. And we also may have shortages in fuel. So I just can't imagine what it will be.
So this has been going on since 2022?
Yeah.
What has happened previous winters?
Previous winters we had blackouts, but sometimes they lasted for several days, and also we had regular blackouts all the time, and we tried to use generator.
And was fuel less expensive previous winters?
Yes.
Steadily increasing all the time.
Yes,
oh my
it's
gosh.
increasing all the time. Yeah.
What are your options then for this winter?
Actually, I don't know. It's very difficult to say. We will see what will be happening here and what we will be able to do, because it's difficult to predict. The situation here is actually aggravating, because like I can watch news not every day, so sometimes I miss it, but I think that Ukraine is less covered in the news at the moment, well, possibly. But actually the situation here aggravates.
Because, very interesting. Well, because the US, there's so much going on in the US, and Donald Trump's involvement in, for example, the war in Gaza, and that seems to be making the headlines at the moment.
Yes, but he also talks about peace all the time, but there are not a single sign of peace here at all. No. So the number of attacks only grows. So we just like, he talks about peace.
Yeah,
we will have peace very soon. Yeah. Peace. Where is that peace?
Where
because
is
the
that
number,
peace?
the number of attacks grows, and also the front line is driving closer and closer to the city. Actually, with every passing day, so it shifts.
Okay,
right. And so, leaving isn't an option.
We won't be able to leave, because men are prohibited to leave the country. The border is closed.
Prohibited? Oh, right.
Yeah, it's closed, because if they even do not let disabled men go outside the country.
Right. Oh, Alla. Wow. It's unimaginable for us who sit here in relative safety to try and comprehend what you're dealing with there.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And it's interesting because we often talk about the lovely drone shots that we see on Gardener's World, and we go on about how we absolutely love the drones because it's just so beautiful, the imagery they capture. And of course, that's drones being used for something very positive, and in your scenario, it
very
couldn't
negative.
be being used for a more negative purpose. And it sort of changes the landscape of war, doesn't it? Because drones can come in unmanned.
They're fairly silent as well.
Yeah, and can cause destruction.
Yeah.
Without any casualties on the attacker's part.
Yeah, anytime. For example, this night drones were flying just above our house because we know that sound very well.
Yeah,
and sometimes
of course,
also they are hit by military men because they're trying to hit them. And if they are hit about the house, the residential house, so it falls down and explodes.
Oh my goodness me! There is unimaginable, Alla. I don't know how you keep your head above water.
Yeah.
It was so lovely seeing your segment on Gardener's World. It was a Your Gardens, wasn't it? But it was, you filmed it so professionally that it looked like it was had been filmed by the Gardener's World team. It was really great. You have a photography background, don't you?
Yes, I have a photography background, and also I'm trying to use my camera in order to produce videos, because several months ago, one of my foreign friends, Sherry Common from Canada, she insisted on creating a fundraiser in order to gather funds to buy a new lens for me. Actually, I didn't believe in that at all, but Sherry insisted, and she managed to persuade me to open the fundraiser, and I was really surprised because actually we managed to gather the necessary sum, and I managed to go to Kiev and buy the lens.
Fantastic.
Lovely.
Yes, so this is for a video camera? Or a stills camera?
No. For my camera, yes, for my Nikon. Yeah. But this is a zoom lens, and it gives the possibility to film better. So you can film videos on it, and they are of better qualities because the focus on the camera changes, and it's very convenient for videos. But well, actually, I'm just learning to film because it's more difficult for me. I'm more keen on photography, but still, well, I'm trying, and also I received this possibility with the new lens, and it's absolutely exciting. So hopefully in the future I will try to film like more plants, videos or something like that. It's very interesting.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
When we saw you we labeled you as the clematis queen because we saw some of the most spectacularly beautiful clematis. Gorgeous. I was pretty ignorant about all the varieties there are of clematis.
I didn't know about all of the ones that you had.
Yes, those beautiful bell clematis. And we then were having a look at your website and some more information on you and your clematis. You actually sell rare plant seeds, don't you?
Yeah, that's really so. My main plants in the garden are clematis because I have quite a big collection of them, more than 140 varieties.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Yeah, this is an exciting plant because in my garden they flower from the start of the gardening season. It's usually April, and Atrigena clematis start to flower, and the last varieties they complete their flowering with the coming of the first frosts, and that's why I just adore this plant. And when I started my Instagram page, I had some followers, and the number increased. And they started asking me about the seeds of my plants, and I created a very, very small catalog of seeds. And with the coming of the war, it turned out that it was a very good idea because it helps my family to survive. Actually, this is the only means of our income, selling seeds of clematis and also peonies and phlox. And I really enjoy doing it. And I also sell seeds of species peonies. I have quite a good collection. They are very, very rare and difficult to find. But unfortunately, I do not have like many bushes, and the number of seeds is very, very limited. So they sell out very, very quickly every time because the demand is very high. Actually, it's very difficult to find a division, and they are very capricious when they are divided, and they may not grow well. And the best way of actually making them grow is to start them from seeds.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
So where are most of your customers from?
Most of my customers are from foreign countries, from the United States, from Canada,
wow,
various.
You sell over there
Crikey.
as well.
Yes, various EU countries, and I also have sent a parcel to Japan,
Wow.
and yeah, it came successfully. That's just great, and also a parcel to Taiwan. Actually,
wow, amazing,
several.
Alla.
Yeah, already several parcels.
How are you packaging those?
Well, usually they come like standard letters. So here I can buy envelopes, some specialized envelopes, because they have inner protection for the
good.
seeds.
Yeah.
And so I just pack my small packages with the seeds in those letters, and they arrive very, very well and absolutely safe.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
So you're growing your beautiful plants at, is it Linden Grove Gardens? Is that the name of your garden?
Yeah, Linden Grove Gardens. It's a private garden,
Right.
and well, sometimes actually, well, some my friends, they can come to the garden, but it's not open to the wide public. And actually, I'm afraid to do it because at the moment the situation is very, very difficult in the country, and actually, I'm afraid of some unknown people in my garden. So at the moment, it's closed, and usually I do not let some unknown people in, because I'm just afraid.
Is the garden attached to your home, or is it somewhere separate?
Yes, it's attached to this house.
Oh, okay. So this is your garden at the back of your house. And it was set up by your great-grandfather?
Yeah, by my great-grandfather, right.
So you've lived in, your family go back generations in that home?
Yeah, but the house was built in the beginning of the 1950s, because my family used to live in the neighboring region, in the Sumy region, and they lived there before the October Revolution. Actually, they were peasants, but very successful. They have many cattle, many lands, and they were working hard and managed to buy a big estate right before the October Revolution from a person who went bankrupt. And when the October Revolution started, as they had that estate, they had many lands and many cattle, they were called by the Soviets kulaks, and kulaks, that meant like very rich people. And the Soviets, they believed that actually such people should be dekulakized, and this means that all the property was expropriated to the Soviet power authorities.
I learned about this in history, actually.
Yeah, yes,
very
yes,
interesting.
yes. Actually, they grabbed the family and they took everything. They took the estate, the lands, so everything the family had. And then my great-grandfather, he received a false denunciation. They were very, very common at those times. And actually, those were times of the famine in Ukraine. And the authorities, they were checking each house for food. And they were not allowed to store like some crops, etc. And all the food was expropriated by the authorities, and the false denunciation stated that my great-grandfather hid some food in his house.
Oh, okay.
And he was imprisoned, and first he was doomed to death, but my great-grandmother, she was hiring a lawyer and trying to do something. And as a result, his imprisonment, it was substituted by the exile to Siberia. And all the family went to Siberia with my great-grandfather. And my granny, she was born already in Siberia. Well, they just hate Siberia because the climate was very different. It was very difficult to live here. It was very cold, and they didn't have any relatives, any connections, and actually they didn't have a normal house. So they were renting some old house in the outskirts of Arkhangelsk. And when the Second World War started, my great-grandfather was called to participate. Actually, all men in the country, they were summoned and had to go to the war. And after the war, he received lots of medals. And finally, this exile in Siberia, it was cancelled for the family, and they were able to go everywhere they wanted to go. And they decided to return here, actually, thanks to the medals my great-grandfather received. He was offered a plot, and he could choose to take a plot under Kiev or under Kharkiv. I do not know why they didn't actually offer a plot in Sumy region, from the region where my family originally lived. But he decided to take a plot near Kharkiv because he wanted to be closer to their relatives who lived in Sumy region. And actually, this plot, it was outside Kharkiv at that moment, but then the city expanded and this district was included as part of Kharkiv.
Wow.
And in the beginning of the 1950s, he took a loan in the bank and started building this house because he didn't have any money. And actually, he was building it for 7 years on his own.
Right.
7 years. That's
Amazing.
Incredible.
What history
What a man.
you have there.
Yes, because he was doing everything with his own hands. So everything we can see here, so windows,
they were by him.
They were made from wood by him. So he did everything alone.
That's incredible.
Yes, and he had to take loans. Yes, to take loans on all the materials for the house. And then he was actually trying to pay these loans for the whole life.
Wow. Oh my gosh,
what a man.
Yeah.
So how big is the plot? How big's Linden Grove Gardens?
No, it's not big. It's difficult for me to say in English because here we have like specific measurements. They differ from Western measurements. So we measure in like sotka. So we had 10 sotkas. Yes, it's difficult to say in English. So
how many sotkas is it?
It's 10.
10 sotkas.
10 sotkas.
Great.
Okay.
Well, I will try to look in Google. It's 1,000 square meters. So 10 sotkas is 100 square meters. 1,000 square meters.
1 sotkas is 1,000. So you've got...
No, 10. No, 10 sotkas is 1,000. So that's the final, the final size, 1,000 square meters.
So you're 1,000 meters squared. Okay.
Well, actually, Google says that it's the standard area of a regular football field.
Oh, your plot.
And it looks like this, but it is subdivided into 2 parts with the house, into 2 equal parts. So this house is in the middle of the plot. So the garden is there and there.
Great. So you have around 1,000 meters squared there, 500 meters squared of garden. When your great-granddad created it, had he already planted a lot of clematis? Had he been a keen gardener and put in a lot of plants? You're shaking your head, so he hadn't done anything with it.
No. He was a very good gardener, but he wasn't keen on decorative plants at all because he regarded them as unnecessary in the garden. And actually, he planted lots of apple trees and he created an orchard. And there are several reasons for it because in the Soviet Union, they had constant shortages with everything. And it was impossible just to go to the shop and to buy everything you need in terms of fruit as well. So you couldn't buy like tasty apples, and he wanted to grow tasty apples for the whole family. And the reason why these were apples, because they can be stored throughout the winter.
Of course, they're great storing.
So many varieties. They are very long lasting, and he had lots of varieties. He had summer varieties, like 1 tree, autumn varieties, varieties, several trees, and the rest of the varieties, they were winter apples, the so-called winter apples, because we had to gather them very late in autumn, but before the first frosts, so usually in October, and they could be stored for the whole winter, and the family could eat fresh apples throughout winter and spring till the summer comes, and they have something to eat in addition to apples.
Right.
And also this was his way to earn the money, because the apples were very, very popular, and actually he had lots of them. He took care of the orchard very, very well. The harvests were extremely high, and he even made a special basement for storing apple trees here in this house.
Wow.
Quite small house, but we have two basements. One basement which is bigger, and you can stand up in it. We use it like a shelter very often at the moment. And the second basement is much smaller, but it stores apples very, very well, just excellent. And he used to sell these apples, and this way he earned money for the family.
Right.
And my granny, she also liked the orchard. It was very difficult for her to take care of the trees, and by that time they grew up very, very big, but they helped again to the whole family in the beginning of the 1990s, while the Soviet Union broke down. That was a kind of disaster for average people living in it, I think in all the countries of the Soviet Union, because the currency fell down, and actually people didn't have either money or jobs, so it was a very, very difficult period for the people. And my granny used to sell apples in order to earn at least something for the family, and they helped just a lot because they allowed to buy food. So she sold apples, and we can buy some food for the family.
So exchange it for food. So do you still have the apple trees now?
Yeah, I still have. Unfortunately, the orchard became very, very old, and we had to cut down the majority of apples because they were dried out, and actually they were empty in the middle of this.
Entirely hollow.
Yeah, they were hollow inside the trunk. They were hollow already.
So have you removed those trees?
Yes, we had to remove because they were dangerous. They could fall down. But I still have several apple trees remaining, and I try to take care of them because they were originally planted by the great-grandfather, and they still produce tasty apples.
Fantastic. So are you getting enough apples to store in the winter as well?
No, unfortunately not enough apples, because the apple trees, actually we have to cut them very intensively because they start drying branches. They're very, very old, and usually such trees like fruit trees, they are not long living, so they are not similar to the oak, for example, so they do not live like a very, very long time. So they are very, very old because they are 70 years old, 75 years old, and so they're quite weak. So we just keep cutting them and trying to support their life, and they produce some apples, so you can eat them, but not a big quantity. So I can't sell apples, and we do not have enough apples for the family, unfortunately. They are more like a reminder about my great-grandfather at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh.
But that's a nice thing to have in the garden, I think.
It is a lovely thing to have.
Yeah.
Well, Alla, I think we should have a look at your dream garden. And then hopefully through that we're going to hear a bit more about Linden Grove Gardens as well, and everything you have there. So Sweet Pea is our head gardener. She's going to take you through it.
So, Alla, for your dream garden, what would be surrounding, in your ideal world, what would be surrounding your garden? So your garden boundary.
Well, first of all, I would like to have more space in my garden because it's quite small, and I already have lots of clematis. Actually, one of the reasons I choose this plant because it had most of clematis have vertical habit, and this way you can plant more. Yes.
Get your 140 in there.
Yeah, exactly. All squashed together.
Yeah,
So how much bigger would you like it? Would you like it twice the size, 4 times the size?
I think maybe twice the size, because I also have to count on my forces, and they're quite limited because I'm the only person working in the garden. But twice the size of my garden would be just perfect, I would say.
If you had help, so if you had gardeners looking after your garden, would you want it any bigger, or would you?
Yes.
Okay.
So in the true dream where there are no restrictions, would you have vast, we would call them acres of land, football pitches of land?
Yes, I would like to have. Yes, I really think that it's cool, because actually there are lots of decorative trees, and I'm also a very big fan of decorative trees. And I think that in that case, if I'm not limited in space, like in money, so I would have a very, very, very big plot, including lots of decorative trees and maybe some not standard landscape design, because it's very, very interesting for me. And I think that my garden would look rather like a botanical garden.
Yes.
Because I would try to feed as many rare plants as possible. Also, I'm a big fan of introducing plants to our local area, and I really like trying growing some plants unknown before. And I would continue this work with pleasure. Actually, here in the Kharkiv region, we had a person who was keen on gardening. His name is Ivan Karazin, and he was very, very famous. At the moment, we have a dendro park, and it was his big estate. And in his estate, he was coming from foreign countries and carrying lots of seeds of various plants. And the people who lived with him, they told the story that he always had pockets full of various seeds.
Wow, yeah.
Yes, and he used to sow them everywhere in his estate. And at the moment, it turned into dendro park. So if I'm not limited in my resources, so I would do a thing like this.
Something like
definitely that. It's like a small botanical garden.
Beautiful.
Oh, lovely.
And so would your dream garden be in the city you are now, or would it be out in the countryside?
Oh, it's difficult to say. Actually, I love my country and I would like it to be here.
But you would prefer a city location to a countryside location?
Yes, here in Kharkiv.
You'd like it in Kharkiv?
Yeah.
Okay. So quite a sort of urban location, but a botanic garden is this oasis within the city.
Well, it can be outside the city, but close to it.
Okay. Yeah,
okay. So slightly on the outskirts.
Yeah. And so your beautiful botanic garden on the outskirts of the city, how do you imagine that being enclosed? Would you have, for example, some of the borders of the garden being a woodland, or would you imagine a wall around it? How would you enclose your beautiful dream garden?
Well, I think definitely not wall, because like botanical gardens, it sounds like something very, very natural. So of course, I would like to make some boundaries from natural materials. I think that it would be clematis, because if I had such a big territory, I could have very, very lots of fences. And I think that the best way is to make like a very light fence from some net, for example, where you can plant clematis, and it will cover it with this green mass and masses of flowers, and it will look just perfect. So I would plant lots of clematis around my garden on the fence and make it very green and very flowery.
Oh, I love that idea.
Stunning.
And I can just picture it, because seeing you on the programme with those stunning clematis, which just blew my mind how beautiful they are. They're pretty flowers
as well.
Yeah, the colours, the variety. That would be a beautiful boundary.
By the way, many varieties are very decorative in the stage of seed heads. For example, such huge plants as clematis sundance, clematis my angel, clematis golden tiara, they are absolutely stunning with seed heads. Absolutely stunning. And they look very, very beautiful even in winter if you do not cut them down.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, well, that sounds great. What a perfect boundary for your garden.
Because of course you want to think about keeping it going and looking beautiful for as long as possible. So seed heads is great.
Yes, sure.
Would you like a shed or a greenhouse?
house?
Yes, sure, absolutely. I would like both a lot because at the moment my old shed fell down and it was built by my great grandfather, so it was as old as the
very
house.
old.
Yeah, very old, but it held up. But we had explosions very, very close to our house. The thing is that the house was built in bricks and the shed was built from wood. And when the explosions are very, very close, the house shakes, and we have already numerous cracks in bricks here around the house.
Oh my God.
But it still stands.
That's amazing.
I'm just afraid that the walls may be going apart, but at the moment they held up somehow. But the shed was wooden and it started to crack, and finally one of the walls and the roof fell down and it became very, very dangerous. So I had to dismantle it because it was dangerous to enter it. It was like falling down. But I would like a shed, definitely. Actually, I'm dreaming about the shed because I used to keep all the garden appliances and all the garden tools there. Yes. And at the moment, I do not have such place, so I have to take everything in the house. And well, it's not quite good and quite convenient. Easy. So yeah.
Would your dream shed then be made out of stone or brick, or would you have another wood one?
I would like bricks because as the practice shows, in case of some difficult situations, bricks are
nice and solid.
Yes, they are more solid, and so I would like bricks. But if you are not limited in the resources, of course, bricks or some kind of stone. And actually, I would like it to be spacey enough in order to place everything, like to see all the tools
hanging
and not
up on the walls.
Yes, hanging up on the walls and not placing them in one like corner.
Just shoved in one corner.
Where you need to come.
They get tangled up.
Yes, and start like looking and trying to find something
sorting
you need.
through all your tools. Yes, my old shed was very much like that. There was a very rusty corner and you'd have to pick one up to get to the other, and it was a mess.
And I used to hate it because there would be cobwebs and
lots of spiders
all
in
over
that shed.
And also a greenhouse. Actually, it's my big dream. I never had a greenhouse, but I need it badly because in order to propagate clematis, you need to make cuttings, and the best thing is to make cuttings in the greenhouse when you have it. And also I have lots of rare perennials, rare Japanese plants, and it's very convenient to replant them in the house. And actually in the greenhouse you can grow some cucumbers or maybe tomatoes, like several bushes for the family.
Sure.
Because they do not grow well outside. Actually, I made an experiment. The thing is, I do not have a space in my garden because all the space is taken by peonies, clematis, and other plants. And I can't make some spare place because I can't remove my main collection. I need to gather seeds in order to provide survival for my family. So I'm very, very limited, and I had just a very, very small place where I tried to plant several cucumbers, but they do not grow well outside because they need some protection. The nights may be very cold. It's not good for them.
They can be difficult.
Yes, they start catching all those fungus diseases, and they do not show like a good result. So greenhouse would be just perfect in order. Yes.
Now, Alla, we usually restrict, so it's if you could only choose a shed or a greenhouse, but you've made very compelling arguments to have both.
Very
I think we could hack this by maybe having one of those sheds that is part shed. So you have your brick stone shed one end, and then it opens into the greenhouse.
There's a greenhouse
side.
area.
Yes, why not? Yes, why not? That would be perfect. But if I need to choose between a shed or a greenhouse, well, I think I would choose a shed because at the moment, I used to have it. And and at the moment I do not have it, and I understand that I just badly need it.
Yep. Okay, I understand. But in the greenhouse, if we're imagining you've got this fusion of shed and greenhouse, on the greenhouse end, would you have staging? Would you have shelves in there, or would you have beds in the ground to grow your cucumbers and tomatoes? How are you going to grow them? In pots?
I think I would divide it into 2 parts, like a flower bed on the ground.
Yeah.
Yes, and several shelves in order, for example, to make cuttings more convenient. So
Lovely.
that I could stand up and make cuttings or replant some small Japanese perennials in the pots.
Yeah,
very nice. I like that. So we've got everything. I love how we got the little flowery area and the little kind of useful area.
The practical, productive area.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's needed in a garden.
Yeah.
You need the spot where you get muddy stuff and then everything's all pristine in the other area.
Yeah, because at the moment when there is war in the country, you understand that you badly need everything. You need seeds in order to earn something. And also that would be so lovely to grow at least some cucumbers or tomatoes for the family, because they are very, very expensive and you just can't buy them all the time. And that would be just great to grow some.
Yeah, would be very nice.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think also we're going to assume your dream garden, there is no war. There's just happiness and joy and peace.
Yeah, that's the main thing, actually. The main thing.
Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, and it's interesting hearing you talking about cracks in the walls of your home being caused by these bomb strikes.
I never thought about that.
It doesn't cross my mind, and I'm concerned. I had an extension done and there are a few cracks coming in the plaster, and I'm worrying about that. And that's not the worry that you have.
No,
yours isn't aesthetic. It's whether your house is going to stay standing. And it really puts things in perspective.
Yeah, well, but actually we were lucky with these cracks because we had explosions very, very close to the house, just in front of the house. But the shockwave went to our neighbors mostly because their fence fell down. Also their shed fell down and the roof was damaged badly. Yeah, that was just terrible.
Crikey.
Yes, and here in my garden only some earth and stones fall down because they were flying from that epicenter of the explosion.
Oh my gosh, of course.
And also when we have those explosions, the ground shakes a lot, so you just hear it very well. If the explosion is very distant, you hear it as well too.
Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah, because it shakes the ground. And also, glide bombs, they can be of varying, varying power, because they have different weight of explosives. They can be smaller in size and they can be much bigger in size. And at the moment, there are also very, very big glide bombs. They are very, very heavy and carry lots of explosives, and it causes just very massive explosions, so you hear it very well.
Now I'm going to ask you, what would be 5 ornamentals for your dream garden?
I wonder what these could be.
I wonder.
Well, but I have to name 5, but not only 2, clematis and peonies, so it's a kind of intrigue. Actually, number 3 would be snowdrops, definitely, because snowdrop was the first flower which I planted on my own in the garden, and actually I was shocked when I saw real white snowdrops, because here in my region, when the spring starts, we have forests similar to blue oceans, because they are covered with Scilla siberica, which is blue.
Oh, and beautiful.
Yeah, it's very, very beautiful. And Scilla siberica is called snowdrop here because we have a tradition. What flowers first is called snowdrop in that region, because it's like a flower, flowering from the snow, like the first flower flowering from the snow. Though this is snowdrop for our people.
So those Scilla siberica, they flower very early on then.
Yes,
so
very early. But
January
they flower much later than actually real snowdrops flower.
Right.
Because real snowdrops, white snowdrops, they start flowering here in the end of February.
Okay.
While Scillas usually flower in the end of March.
Okay.
But for our people, scillas are the first flowers here in the region, because snowdrops are not growing in the wild nature, and so people call them snowdrops. And I saw real white snowdrops, it was a big shock for me. And I planted them in my garden. Those are the first flowers, and I just adore them. I have some variety which I managed to swap, and I try to propagate them, and my aim is that my garden should be covered with snowdrops in spring, like in some English gardens. It's like a snow, the second wave of snow.
It's stunning.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
that's a lovely choice.
Very nice.
I'm trying to propagate them. Then the fourth place, I think that would be Japanese perennials, rare Japanese perennials, like some glaucidium, maybe trilliums, ranzania, jeffersonia. I just adore those small plants, and I have so many of them in the garden, and I like propagating them. Why them? Because they are very, very small.
And so what are these Japanese perennials?
I've never heard of these.
I don't know what that is. What's a Japanese perennial?
That is the Japanese wood poppy. That's stunning.
Well, glaucidium is a plant endemic to northern and eastern Japan. Well, here usually we call them like Japanese perennials because they originate from Japan. Rare shady garden perennials. Because glaucidium is not a common plant, it's very difficult to find it.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's a slow grower. I have a standard violet form and also a white form in the garden, for example. So it's like, let it be rare perennials or something like this, rare small perennials for shady garden.
Yeah.
And number 5, garden orchids. Definitely.
Garden orchids.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So wild orchids.
Yeah, because I have a flower bed. It was a big challenge for me to learn to grow them.
Yeah.
Because they are quite difficult.
They're very difficult.
Yes, they're demanding in terms of the soil. But finally, I had several attempts. That's long before the war. It's very difficult to get them. I had several attempts of making specialized flower beds for them. And finally, I succeeded. And I managed to make the soil which they enjoyed.
What did you put in it? What's the soil structure kind of?
Good question, Sweet.
So I used peat, but it should be neutralized, not acidic. So I took part of my garden soil, which is actually very, very good here in Kharkiv region. Then I took part of neutralized peat. I added perlite. In order to make it very
airy.
Fluffy. Yes.
Brilliant stuff.
Yes, perlite. And also I added some, in English it's expanded clay. It's like a kind of stones, but they are artificially made of clay.
Yes.
They are very lightweight.
You have those, Sweet Pea.
Oh, yes, and they're like porous. They've got holes in them.
Yes.
Perfect.
Right. They are perfect because they keep moisture very well, and also when there are lots of stones in the soil, it's very good and beneficial for the root system of the plants, because the root tries to grow like around those stones, and it stimulates the roots to grow more.
Right.
And also it keeps moisture very well, so even when the soil gets quite dry in the flower bed, those stones, they remain like a kind of wet a little bit, and the roots which are among those stones, they still can have some like
some water.
Some water, and it's very, very beneficial for plants on this flower bed. And this flower bed is raised. It's like that way higher above my regular. Around maybe 15 centimeters or something like that, because we need very, very good drainage. And I also added one secret ingredient, which is...
what is it?
Just Googling it.
Yeah, it's like ground shells. Long before
interesting.
Yeah, long before the war, we visited Azov Sea, which used to be part of Ukraine. And on the beach, actually, the beach descent consisted of ground shells there.
Right.
So it's very white and it's small ground shells. And
Perfect.
actually, I took several big packets of those grounded shells from the beach, and I use them in the soil. Why? Because in nature, many garden orchids, actually those garden orchids which I grow in my garden, they grow on limestone outcrops.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so they need some lime in the soil, and actually those grounded shells are the source of the lime, which goes out slowly of them. And actually, I made several flower beds, and I can say that my garden orchids, they grow only on the bed with ground shells, and they do not want to grow without them. So I think they need them.
That
because
secret ingredient is vital.
Yes.
Yeah, because I need Cypripedium. I grow Cypripedium calceolus. Actually, you can see from the name of this plant that it needs some lime in order to flourish. And also, I grow such hybrids as Cypripedium ventricosum and Cypripedium macranthus, and they're hybrids. And like all those plants, I think they prefer some limestone in the soil.
Okay,
that's very interesting.
I didn't know that whatsoever, because I have one little orchid in here, but I just have it in a pot. And I need to pot it up, and I know that it needs good drainage, so I'm putting in perlite that you said, for example, and I might top it with some of those clay balls as well. With the porous, they'll be good.
Yeah, just add them. They are very, very beneficial for the root system of the plant. And actually, well, I saw that, for example, there is a very, very famous nursery which grows garden orchids, and it's called Frosch. I think they are located in Germany. And I saw their guidelines on growing garden orchids, and they say that their hybrids are very easily grown in the regular garden soil, but it's not like that. No, they won't grow in the regular garden soil if the soil is very, very dense, because they need very fluffy soil, very aerated soil, so soil with air and without any additional water. It's very, very important to produce a very good drainage for them, to ensure very, very good drainage for them, to make this ground filled with air, but also those stones with some moisture, in order not to make them dry out, because they do not like drying out at all, and the excessive moisture kills them just immediately. They do not like that.
Yeah. I learned about that. I'm trying to make sure I do not overwater the orchids whatsoever.
Yes.
Only when the top part has gone dry of the soil, I water.
Actually, I noticed that when we have very, very hot summers and the temperature here reaches 40 or 45 degrees Celsius on sun. Yeah, sometimes we have such summers. Wow. Yes, very hot. But of course, they are planted in shade. And actually, the flower bed is shaded additionally around. But still, it's very, very hot, very, very dry in the garden. We have watering, but even watering isn't enough. And also we had all those blackouts, and it was very, very difficult to water, and the flower beds remained without watering. Well, it's better for them to have a slightly dried soil than overwatered. Slightly dried is okay. It makes them go in the dormant period earlier. But they won't die, so they produce good buds on their root system. I was checking that all the time. The buds was very good. Yeah, the roots were okay, although the soil was quite dry around them, but quite dry is better than over moistured for them. So yes, they will just go. Yes, they will just go dormant earlier, and that will be okay for them. It's much preferable.
Okay, that's a very, very good top tip, actually. Now then, what would be 5 edible plants? for your garden?
As for edible plants, of course, apples is
Of
number
course.
one.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Any particular variety?
Oh, yeah.
We have a very, very good variety from my great-grandfather. It's called Semirienka. It was a very, very popular apple in the Soviet Union. It's very storable. It stores just very well in our basement, and it's very tasty. Actually, we had a green variety, so the apples look green, but they're sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're sweet and very, very tasty.
Oh, they sound lovely. What are your other edible plants?
Also pears, because we also had several pears in the garden planted by my great-grandfather, and I just love them. But
They're
unfortunately, I do not know the names of the varieties he planted. They're just tasty.
They're just very, very good.
Some
That's
yummy
all
pears.
you need to know.
That's all you need to know. The yummy ones.
The good ones.
Yes. Number 3 is strawberry, definitely. I just adore strawberry. It's very, very tasty. And
Do you grow any?
We had some strawberries because my grandmother, she just adored strawberries and she tried to plant them, but the garden was shady because of the apple trees, which covered all the garden. They became very, very big, but still she tried to grow them, but they didn't grow well under the trees. They were small in size, but they were very sweet and tasty. And I remember it from my childhood. And definitely I would have a flower bed with some strawberries in order to eat for the family.
Sounds
lovely.
Number 4 is raspberry, because we had some raspberry in the garden too, and it was planted by my granny as well, because she adored strawberries and raspberries, and they're very, very tasty. I do not know the variety. But
when does it flower? Does it flower and give you fruit in summer, or does it give you fruit in autumn?
We had both actually. The harvest in summer and also several bushes which produced harvest in autumn.
Nice.
The autumn raspberries were not that sweet, but they also were tasty, especially taking into account that there was no much choice to eat in autumn, so they were absolutely okay. So I would like to plant both, some summer varieties and some autumn varieties.
Nice.
And number 3 is cranberries, because cranberries are very, very popular in my country, and we have them of 3 colors. Traditionally, it's white, red, and black. But my favorites are white ones.
So how do you eat them? Just as the cranberry, or do you have a recipe that you use for them?
Usually my granny made from them compote. You called it like stewed fruit or something like that.
We call it a compote.
Compote
as well.
And it was very, very tasty. And usually in summer she gathered me like a cup of cranberries, and she just added sugar over them, and I just eat them like this. So cranberries with sugar, and it was so tasty. But I liked only white ones because they were the sweetest ones.
They were the sweetest. Oh, interesting.
And then just with the apples, because apples has played a big part in your family's lives for generations. Do any of you have any recipes for your apples, or would you just eat them as an apple?
Well, actually, my granny, she made also compote from apples. Also, she made jam from apples, and it was very, very tasty, just absolutely tasty. She had a big copper basin, like very, very big, and it covered 4 burners of our stove. Yes. And thanks to this basin, she managed to make a very, very tasty jam, because it was very dense. It was very tasty, just absolutely great. And also my great grandmother, she made the so-called soaked apples.
What's soaked apples?
They had a big barrel, and she made soaked apples in this barrel, but not any apple variety is okay. So in order to make tasty soaked apples, you need Antonovka.
Antonovka.
Yes, and we had a big Antonovka tree. Those apples are not tasty if if you eat them like as fresh apples.
So they're cooking apples?
No, they're not tasty, but they're very tasty as soaked apples.
Now then, what would be one statement tree? So one tree that you must have in your garden, if you had to choose.
Well, actually, that would be apple if we speak about orchard. And if we speak about a decorative garden, then I think that would be a big magnolia tree.
Mm-hmm. Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah.
A pink one or a white one? Or even, I think you can get dark purple now.
I can't imagine a white flower variety, big white flower variety, but I know pink flowered varieties which are suitable for our climate and which are not spoiled by the returning frost because they flower a little bit later. So I would say that would be a big pink magnolia tree.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful. I love magnolias. I think they're so magnificent.
Yeah, me too. Yes, me too. I just adore them, and I have some of them in my garden. And actually, I have a pink magnolia in my garden. It's already quite beautiful, and actually, I bought it very, very long ago. As I didn't have money, I bought a P9
oh wow,
plant.
A little tiny sapling.
Yeah, so it looked like this very small pot, P9, and like one stem. And at the moment, it's twice as high as I am.
Wow.
And,
oh my gosh.
How long ago did you plant it?
Yeah.
I just planted in the open ground, but I used to cover it for the first years for winter because I was afraid for that small plant. But it grows very, very well, so it's absolutely stable. But actually, the variety doesn't correspond because I wanted to buy Sensation, but it turned out to be not Sensation because last year I saw the first flowers finally because lots of years passed already and they're pink.
Right. And they're pink.
How long ago did you plant that little tiny tree?
Actually, I already even do not remember when I planted it. I managed to buy that year several trees. That was several small magnolias, and it was a small sakura tree, the same size. And at the moment, it's already twice as high as I am. Also, the variety doesn't correspond because I wanted to buy, I'm not sure how it is called, but it should have burgundy leaves. And they are not burgundy, but the flowers are double and absolutely beautiful. And when it covers all over with the flowers, it looks very, very beautiful in spring. So I'm absolutely happy with my purchase because I couldn't afford a big magnolia or a big sakura. And thanks to those small stems, at the moment, I have several gorgeous trees which are very, very beautiful. Actually, it doesn't make any difference whether it is white or whether it is pink because I didn't have any. So it's just very, very pleasing to have a magnolia and sakura in my garden.
So, next question. Would you like a pond or a pool in your garden, and what plants would you have?
That's the most difficult question for me because I'm not a big fan of pools.
You don't like water?
No.
Yes, and of ponds. But of course, if I have a pond, I would plant a water lily or some water lilies. I know they're very beautiful and they vary in sizes. And actually, we had a big pond in our central park and they planted lots of various lilies there. They were white, they were yellow, they were pink and purple, so very, very beautiful. So probably I would plant a water lily.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you say there's this beautiful pond in the park. If you had a pond in your garden, would you like it to be like that one, or would you prefer to have no pond?
Well, I would prefer to have a smaller one because in the Central Park it's big. So if I would make a pond, it will be much smaller. And maybe for some small lily varieties, because I know that they differ in size. They could be tiny, they could be like average in size and big in size. So maybe for several tiny varieties, and that's it, because I'm not a big fan.
You're not a big fan of ponds?
Yeah.
No.
So
okay,
you don't
that's
have to have a
absolutely
pond.
fine.
But if you are having
It's your
this
dream.
pond, would it be a pond that's raised off the ground, or would it be
Or in the ground? Same level
I think
as the ground.
I think in the ground. I think in the ground
Okay.
because we have something similar in that Dendro Park, which I mentioned already, from the estate of that outstanding person, and he has a pond. Actually, he has a very specific landscape design because his botanical garden turned out to be like it has several levels and it goes downwards, and in the bottom he has that pond. It's not very big, and it is covered with pesticides. So it's like a kind of specific plant. It has very, very big leaves. His pond is covered from the sides with that plant, and it looks like very interesting, very interesting. But I would like to plant some water lilies, and that's it.
They are stunning. They're
Sounds
also
good.
very peaceful when you look at them. They're gorgeous.
Yeah, really
very
so.
nice choice. Well, Alla, the last question. What would be your favourite seating area, drink to have there, sitting, chilling, and one plant to have with you?
I think that would be somewhere in the middle of my garden because I want to see as much beauty as I can fit into my sight. Because even at the moment, the garden is very, very beautiful, and I have a bench in the middle of the garden, which was made by me and my husband.
Oh, lovely!
Lovely. From the wood which we found in the garden. So it would be very, very natural, like a kind of such bench. And I think that I would like to have clematis near me, because if you make a kind of like, by the way, I had that idea to make alcove.
An alcove.
An alcove.
Lovely.
An alcove. That would be perfect because you can cover it with clematis.
Yes.
And it would look beautifully.
Which clematis are you thinking of?
Which clematis?
I think it should be something very big, like clematis my angel, or maybe golden tiara, because they're huge clematis and they can cover big area. And alcove, it's something quite high, so it has some place for a big clematis. So that would be like this.
Lovely choice. So the bench that you and your husband made, that's your dream seating that you'd have in your dream garden. Can you describe the bench?
It's very, very usual. It's very usual. We just made it of several boards, which we found in the garden, several boards. So we made legs, like 4 legs, one board on the 4 legs, and one board for the back. So that's very
Have you painted it?
Yes, sure. We painted it with green paint.
Green.
Yes, in order to make it look like very, very natural in the garden.
Any cushions?
Yes, maybe, but like, no, at the moment I do not have it, but possibly we could have them. But the only thing which I do not like is the fuss around those cushions, because you have to take them outside the house and then take them in, and I'm always short of time. And
but you'll have staff.
Yeah, you can have people do that for you.
Yes. If you have staff, it changes everything. Yes, of course. Then you can have cushions, you can have an alcove, and you can have everything around. But if you are alone, so you should be more modest in your desires.
And then what would you be drinking to settle back and relax?
Tea. Yes, definitely tea. I just adore tea.
Any type of tea?
Usually I drink standard black tea.
Black tea. Lovely.
In your clematis alcove.
Yeah.
Well then, Alla, I'm going to read back to you Dream Garden, just in case there's anything you want to change. If I've got anything wrong, hopefully I've got it all right. So, the garden boundary, we wanted a big garden. We wanted staff so that you can look after everything, have gardeners with you. You wanted lots of decorative trees. You wanted it a bit like a botanical garden with some rare plants in there, like Dendro Park nearby, slightly on the outskirts of the city, but kind of in between the countryside and the city, and then lots of fences with clematis surrounding you. Then you wanted definitely wanted a shed, brick shed, for all your tools to be nicely spaced out, so a big one. But we did also talk about a beautiful greenhouse with shelves and some flower beds for clematis cuttings, rare Japanese plants, and some vegetables, for example, cucumbers, etc. Then 5 ornamentals, we had clematis, peonies, snowdrops, Japanese perennials like Glaucidium palmatum or Rosinea japonica, and then some garden orchids. Then your 5 edibles, we had apples, Simarenko, for example, pears, strawberries, raspberries, we wanted the summer and autumn varieties, and cranberries, especially the white ones.
Because they're the sweetest.
Oh my gosh, yes, because they're the sweetest. Then your 1 tree, if it was in the orchard, it would be the apple. In the decorative area, it's the magnolia with beautiful pink blooms. Then you weren't so sure on a pond, but if you had a pond, it would be in the ground, smaller than the one in the Central Park, but you'd have beautiful water lilies in there, the small varieties. And then finally, your seating area would be in the middle of the garden to look at everything around you on a nice homemade bench in green paint, some cushions, with a clematis in an alcove, like, for example, the one called My Angel, and a standard of black tea to hold in a cold winter's day.
Yeah. Sounds like a very good plan.
Sounds very, very nice and very peaceful as well.
Yeah. Very peaceful. That sounds absolutely wonderful, Alla. Really appreciate it and you taking time out to tell us all about it.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It was such a joy to talk to you.
You too.
Oh, thank you.
That's been a good old chit-chat with Alla.